using her color. I thought that Martin Luther King said the color wasn't the issue. I thought it was the content of our character that we were supposed to be recognized for. But she's going to keep running on that color. She's going to have a misconception about how black people really roll.
If you bring somebody into office that looks like you, but then continues to detriment your community, what was that for? But if you choose somebody who can raise your community, then you chose the right one.
Yes. Wait,
so
who do you choose?
Personally, I choose Trump.
I'm looking for who I think is more qualified to run the country. That's all I'm looking at.
Black Latinos are starting to be a little bit more critical. They're fed up of their hard-earned money going to illegal, undocumented people.
Kamala Harris did not do a good job on the border because from what I know, a lot of people were coming from the other side and doing a lot of bad things to what we call home.
I think she's not a good candidate for president because she's with Joe Biden for the past 2 years, a wreck up in New York.
We're about to go through these interviews today, man. I want you to see just how many people are not voting for Kamala Harris. I mean, people have caught on to what's going on. Her and Tim Walz would be absolute destruction for this country. And if anybody had any sort of common sense, they would put the two and two together. I mean, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have done a terrible job this entire time that they've been in office. So her taking over for Joe Biden and then bringing an even more progressive person as her vice president could only equal disaster. But that's only if you have traditional American values, right? So this is going to boil down to what your values are. I mean, there has to be a lot of people that still want a two-person household, that want to be entrepreneurs, that don't want to give up everything to the government, that still have hopes and dreams to be successful in this country. But if you have any ideas on how Kamala and Tim Walz think, these people are socialist and you can't be successful in a socialist society. Look all across the board, across the entire planet. Any communist or socialist society, there's barely anybody that's successful. The government holds people back too much, and it just is not a good thing for society. Now, let's jump right back into these interviews. You're watching The Unexplained Outlook. Don't forget to subscribe. This is going to be good.
Colors don't matter, man.
Right, they don't.
Ask God, man.
That's true. So what do you think about a candidate that uses their race as a selling point? Do you think
That's some weird
That's weird?
You lost. You lost already. 2024. If you racist today, you lost. Nobody going against Trump.
It's not about race. It's about what they provide for the society, is what they could do for the community.
With her putting a lot of black Americans in jail for the marijuana, they're not really going for her.
We also got people's thoughts on Trump's recent comments on Harris's ethnicity.
She was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
Yeah, she was Hindu when it suited her purpose, and now that she's running, the black vote suits her purpose. So, like Trump said, now she's black.
Donald Trump is absolutely right. Her mother is Indian, her father is Irish Hindu, and she's always presented herself as Indian.
What do you think about Trump saying Kamala Harris is black? I thought she was Indian. She was saying she was Indian.
That's my response. Trump is an open book, yo. Facts.
That's just Trump being Trump. I don't believe he's racist. I don't even think he has a racist bone in his body.
Trump said that Kamala Harris always portrayed herself to be Indian, and now all of a sudden she's saying she's black.
Right? Nah, she's really Indian. She just want our support. She's trying to snatch our support away from Trump. But that's not how that's going down.
Now, California and these other states have gotten so bad that lifelong Democrats have switched to Republican. Even people in office, it's gotten bad. Check this out.
To you first, Senator, in your first live interview since breaking news, you have gone from a Democrat in California to a Republican. I mean, what's the reasoning for the move from one side of the aisle to the other?
Well, that's the big question of the day. And the answer is really simple. I've been a lifelong Democrat, and the Democratic Party of today in California, I do not recognize it. And so I can't, in good conscience, with the values that I have and my commitment to represent the voters of California, continue to call myself a Democrat.
But it's a gutsy move in California, and now you're in the vast majority. You were in the majority, and now you're in the vast minority. How does that make you feel?
Well, you know, it's exciting because I've been working with my colleagues in the Republican Senate and in the Assembly for quite some time. I've been serving for 2 years and I have 2 more years to my term. So I have gone through an uphill battle in the supermajority and have seen over and over and over again the lack of will to make those decisions that we need as legislators to take California in a different direction. And my Republican colleagues have a plan to fix California, and I want to be part of that.
Yeah, very quickly to you, Steve Hilton. It's a gutsy move.
I think it really is the sign of the change that I've been fighting for. I've got my organization, Golden Together, non-partisan, Democrats supporting it, Republicans and independents. Everyone can see we need change in California. On every policy issue. This one-party rule for nearly 20 years is failing. It's time for change, and the senator's move today is a sign that it could happen.
I've had a front row seat at watching the supermajority fail us over and over again, and you hit the nail on the head. Prop 47, we've seen it devastate our businesses, our communities. Our constituents are afraid for even taking their kids to school or to the community parks. We have communities in my district alone that are being sued by the state because they're saying no more drugs on the street, no more homeless on the street, no more giving these packets of needles and drug paraphernalia to addicts.
There was a term that I kept hearing amongst everyone that's very important, and that word is community. Everyone was talking about how their community will be affected. Now, Kamala and Tim Walz, they're not running on any community stuff. I mean, it's my body, my choice is stuff. I understand why they're running on that. It's very important to a lot of people, but there's a lot of other issues that are important to people as well, such as the economy, all of the crazy stuff that's happening in schools, open borders, and people want this crime rate to go down. It feels very safe across the entire country right now. So community touches on all of those things. You know, if you can get more money into the community and more opportunities in the community, you get police controlling the communities better and the crime rate down, people will be a lot happier. Community, community, community. We need to do whatever we can to fix that on a ground level by providing jobs and helping entrepreneurs become more successful and putting money into those areas as opposed to just giving more money to the government. Now, we know how socialist and communist thinkers think. They are not going to be going for any of that stuff. They're not going to be down to help entrepreneurs and business owners. Democrats have never ran on the fact of helping entrepreneurs and business owners. That is all a Republican and right-wing thing. You know, take more power away from the government, give it to the people, put the power and money into the hands of the entrepreneurs and people that are willing to work on the ground level and help people become successful at providing jobs and building businesses. I mean, it's that simple.